team?
Yeah, so I psychologically, this opponent is in a similar situation as our opponent last weekend was, and there are certain ways to approach games like this, but we are facing a team who desperately wants to win, who needs to win, who's at home, and so we'll expect a team to give 100% in all categories, and we need to be ready for that. Looks like there'll be some weather as well that we need to deal with. So this game has potential to be tight, has potential to be exciting, but it also has potential to be very difficult. And we are in a position where we are more focused on results than we are performance. I think our performances have been pretty good, but we would like to string some positive results together, and that's where our focus is for this weekend.
I was telling this to Ryan, but just with Mark going to his old stomping grounds and so forth, any plans about experience Montreal before or after?
Is it a question for Mark or for me?
For you. Well, he's gonna show you around.
Well, I've heard Montreal is an incredible city, and but when the sun shines, and that doesn't happen very often. So, and it's not looking pretty on the radar. So, I don't know. We'll find out when we get there.
Maybe look for some different looks at this game to see. Obviously, with the busy stretch afterwards. I mean, I know you focus on this game, but maybe seeing what you might have for the busy summer.
Yeah, we'll always have an eye on the summer and the schedule moving forward for sure. I think we do a good job here at LAFC of, at the same time, keeping on task, which is gathering points in the MLS. And but having a busy summer seems to be consistent with all of the years here at LAFC, and we like that. So we're excited about the opportunity. In a little over a week, but I think winning this game in Montreal would be the best message we can send for ourselves, to our fans, and obviously for our opponents moving forward.
How are you with the depth of the team? I know after the game you said some guys were coming off because obviously busy week. How are you looking about how many guys, the width and breadth of your roster that you can rely on?
Yeah, we have a full roster, so that's great. And the game against Seattle showed both sides. You rotated a little bit. I think we had 5 starters rotate. Those players who rotated in did fantastic. We didn't miss a beat. And then making the subs we made, they came in a very, very good way. So I think that game is a great example of what we can do while we rotate. The rotations and the against the Galaxy were a little different, but that is at the back end of a busy week. There's some fatigue involved there. There's the special moment of the game. So we are looking for better individual performances against Montreal, and and for those who get on the field as subs, those subs need to be effective in order for us to come away with 3 points.
Thanks, Steve.
Next we'll go online. Josh Gross, go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Steve. Just in terms of the health of the squad, the only name on the player availability list that I saw last week was Maxime Chanot with the head. Just any update on him and what his prognosis situation looks like?
Yeah, Max is fine. He's back in full training.
Okay. As far as where this match falls, clearly coming after an emotional El Trafico, and then you have a major match against Club América. Talked to Ryan a bit about this, but just in terms of keeping the focused attention on this league match, do you need to have it squarely on this game, or can you allow your guys or yourself to look ahead at all towards what's coming? It sounded like Ryan was sort of tying in a good result here in Montreal helps us for America. Do you agree with that's how you should be looking at it?
Which Ryan were you speaking to?
Hollingshead.
Okay. Every team you're involved with, whether that's a player or a coach, from my perspective at least, is different. Each team can prepare differently and needs different preparations. In my experiences with this particular group, I think we need to train well to play well, and that every day. And I don't think we can just take breaks and just say, oh, but in a week I'll be fine. That's not how this works for this particular team. And so every day needs to be good in order for us to play well in Montreal. And we had a good week of training today especially, and I'm looking for the same tomorrow in order for us to perform well on the weekend. And that is the best way to prepare for Club América.
Have you done any kind of scouting or work with the team as far as America goes, or is that fully reserved for next week?
The team will be approached next week, but obviously the coaching staff is finished with their preparations, with the exception of their match tonight against Toluca.
Okay. And just as far as where you guys are, the opponent you face, Montreal, what hasn't been working for them this year? Where do you feel like they can suffer and you guys have advantage on them?
Not getting too much into reading into other clubs' problems. I don't know. I'm not there on a daily basis. I don't know what context, where they're coming from and where the problems are. That's not my responsibility, nor will I comment on other teams. I can tell you what we see on the field as far as opportunities for us, where our matchups are favorable, and where we think there are some opportunities. I do see some opportunities in us. With a little bit of their man orientation, the way they defend, breaking them down and trying to play in behind as much as possible. I think that is one area where we can expose. And I think for our players also understanding when to take risks and when not to take risks. And obviously defensively, that's a team, from our perspective, our defensive responsibilities need to be to not be as passive as we were last week against the Galaxy, be a little more aggressive, stay connected, and defend as far away from our goal as possible. Montreal has shown they can be effective off of crosses. Physical players up top will hit a lot of crosses, and I think our players need to be ready for that, and the best way to defend that is to not allow them to cross, obviously.